Hi everybody, April with Second Star Journal, and welcome to this process video, which is going to be week 9 of Project Life. This week I am using majority of my journaling cards from my Elle Studio subscription kits, with the exception of that bottom right 6x4 spot. I ended up grabbing a piece of paper from the Waffle Flower special delivery. It is something that I got for free from an order on scrapbook.com, and I'm just going to cut that down to a 6x4 size. A good amount of the ephemera that I am using this week comes from the Feed Your Craft Happy at Home kit. There was actually this little ephemera that says "Love My Creative Space," which actually inspired the whole spread, and I'll explain it a little bit later once I go over the pictures from this week. I am going to work on my title card first. I grabbed this card specifically because I liked how the blues, the greens, and the reds kind of played into that creative space ephemera, and decided to use my Elle Studio medium Jane outline stamps to stamp out the word week. You'll see here me play around a little bit with the stamps. My idea is that I wanted to stamp the letter W-E on one line and the letter E and K on the second line, and I'm just trying to make sure that they would fit. Once I am confident that it's going to fit, I grab my archival jet black ink and go ahead and stamp it out. Now, the reason why I did the outline is because I didn't want the card to be overpowered by a solid black stamp. I often forget that I do have some color inks as well, but I do like the way that the outlines look on this card. Now you'll see here shortly, when it comes time to stamp out the number, I actually decide I want to go with the solid and grab the Elle Studios Medium Jane solid stamps to stamp it out, because I do want the number to kind of stick out. Now I am happy with the way that this title card comes out, but you will see here shortly that when I do take that solid 9 and stamp it out, I stamp it out over the stars, kind of want to have that kind of be the centerpiece, but if I was going to do it again, I would have probably fussy cut that out. Now, if you've seen my previous video where I said that I wish that Elle Studio made a coordinating die cut for the stamp set, I think that's week 7. I'll link it in the upper right hand corner now. Well, today is the 10th, so it's release day for Elle Studios, and no, they do not have a coordinating die set for this Medium Jane Alpha set, but they are dropping new Alpha stamp sets, which based off of the sneak peeks, looks like they also will be offering coordinating dies, so I am definitely going to be buying those today. I cannot wait. To finish off the title card, I just grab an Elle Studio label and my Heidi Swap roller date stamp and stamp out the days. Now, while I'm finishing this title card, let me go ahead and explain to you about the week. It wasn't a really busy week. I think our busiest day was Sunday. We went to Marshall's to try to look for a new craft chair because the chair I had been using was like 7 or 8 years old. Well, I did end up finding a chair and falling in love with it, and as I was rolling it around the store, I saw the patio set that I had seen actually the day before at a different Marshall's and made my husband sit in it. He fell in love with it, and we were kind of trying to figure out how everything was going to fit in the car. My husband even suggested that we leave the craft chair, the whole reason why we went to the store, behind and come back for it another day. But long story short, we ended up fitting everything in the car, and that is the picture above what the back end looked like. Now, because I had so much to journal about, I was afraid that I was going to run out of room on that important details card if I used my typewriter, so I just ended up using Photoshop to print it directly on the card, and then stuck down that Elle Studio Let Your Heart Sing die cut and call that card good and move on to that photo of my husband's car. To finish off this photo, I grabbed an ephemera from the Feed Your Craft Happy at Home that said Online Retail Therapy Shopping. But since we bought this in store, I just stick it to the top and cut off the part that says online and call that card good for now. The next card that I'm going to work on is going to go super quick. Since the rest of the week was kind of dull, one day I decided to take a screenshot of a sunny, kind of warm day in hopes that spring was on its way, and I just printed that out and stuck that down to that 3x4 journaling card, and I'm going to call that one done. So the next card that I'm going to work on is that label card. I love the way that this looked, and I really wanted to get creative with it and thought that maybe I should put some journaling in those label parts. But then I remembered I had my Elle Studio Everyday Phrases stamped, and I just pulled that out to see what the options they had. Now, you can tell here they have some phrases that are all outlines and then some that are filled in black. So the plan was to go with the all kind of the outline ones, and I'm just playing around to see which phrases fit. I really wanted to kind of keep it along the vibe of how happy I was because of my new craft chair and my new patio set. So I'm just stamping them out and just playing around where I want them to go. So you see that I grabbed, I think, one that says, "This made my day," and "Everyday goodness." While I was looking around the other stamps, trying to find other ones that kind of fit along that phrase, I found one that said, "Thankful for this," and it was a solid one, but I was like, you know what, I just have to go for this, and I wanted to kind of play around to see how it would stamp out. So of course, me being OCD, once I decide that I really like that, I'm now going to have it alternate. I'm going to have a outline, solid, outline, solid. So now I'm just trying to find another solid that fits this phrase, and I found one that says heart eyes for this. My other OCD is I want them now to be kind of in order of size. So I'm just rearranging it here, and you notice that I didn't pre-stamp out the heart eyes for this because I had used that stamp before, so I was just gonna go with it, and I'm just start stamping everything down, trying to line it up. I will go ahead and fast forward through this and jump ahead just because it did take me a while to stamp them all out individually, but I do want to say that I am so happy with the way that this card came out. I feel like the last previous weeks I kind of was like word phrase sticker or puffy sticker heavy, and I didn't use a lot of my stamps, so I was very happy that this week it gave me that opportunity to use these stamps. Now, since I had the spare paper already handy, I did grab my Feed Your Craft Happy at Home stamp set because it is off screen now, but I did end up saving the big tag from the patio set that has a picture of it put together, and I want to put it in my album, so I'm just stamping out some stuff to put on it. So this first stamp that I stamp is a circle stamp that says "Time to Relax, Unwind," and the first stamp didn't stamp very well, so I go ahead and stamp it again, and I grab my circle punch to punch it out. Now, it is a smudge smaller than the actual stamp, so I do spend a good amount of time trying to center that, but then I love the way that it comes out afterwards. The next stamp that I grabbed from the stamp kit is a arrow stamp that says "Cozy Vibes," and I stamped that on my spare piece of paper, and I'm just trying to line it up to make it easier to cut it out. And then when I was putting it back, I noticed another stamp that says "Finding Comfort in This," and it kind of fits the size of that Elle Studio green label to the right there, so I go ahead and grab the label and just kind of play around to see if it is something that will fit there, and then I stamp it out on the spare piece of paper just to kind of test it because it's my first time using the stamp, and then go ahead and stamp that on the label and place that on that picture of the back of my husband's car just for now, kind of deciding if that's where I want it to go while I go ahead and fussy cut that Cozy Vibes arrow stamp. Once everything is cut out, I put it to the side and go ahead and grab that last journaling card with the creative space, which was the inspiration behind this whole spread. I am playing around with this a little bit because I want to make sure I have a spot for that label from Kelly Stamps so I can add a little bit of journaling, as well as use that Feed Your Craft ephemera on my desk because I really like the way that it fits. Once I am done with the journaling, I go ahead and start sticking everything down, starting with that on your desk because it looked really good in that top right-hand corner. The next thing I go ahead and stick down is that creative space ephemera, and I want to place that kind of towards the top left and kind of have the picture stagger a little bit below that, which you'll see here shortly. Now the picture did print out kind of dark, but it is a picture of the new craft chair that we bought in my craft space, and it just fits so perfectly, and I love the way it's just so comfortable, and I was so happy that I had that ephemera that kind of matched the whole vibe of that. So once I stick that picture down kind of staggered, I take that label, place it kind of towards the right, and cut off the extra. I am going to jump ahead a bit because I did end up losing those 2 stamped out pieces that I cut out and spend a good amount of time searching for them. But this is when I bring over that tag that I was telling you about earlier from the patio set. I ended up just putting some twine in the hole at the top of it. I go ahead and stick down that Finding Comfort in This label on that photo of my husband's car, and then stick down the Cozy Vibes and Time to Relax stamps that I had cut out previously on that tag. I bring over a pocket page from my album to try to figure out where I want to place that tag, and I decide that I want to put it at the top. So I go ahead and grab my hole punch and kind of punch the hole in the tag, and then I ended up calling this Spread Good. But you will see at the end of the video, I actually ended up moving the stamps around on that tag and putting it more towards the middle so it will sit better, and call this spread done. Thank you guys for watching this week's video. I hope you liked it, and if you do, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye.